Hey, okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius, because today's the 6th of September 2023. So, yeah, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. So I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. Now then, guys, let's jump into the charts. Look, I'm picking up on the same instruments basically that I looked at yesterday. So just wanted to give you a quick update on what's happening here because we did get a bit of movement in those instruments. But yeah, look, Nikkei 225, beautiful pop here. Yesterday I talked about this and I said to you that if we respect the trend line here and we continue to do so, then yes, maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. However, we did not respect that line. And there we go, we popped higher and we remained above this downside line. Now, I'm not saying that this is suddenly opening the door to, towards some higher levels. No, we'll just go slowly. We'll aim for my levels here, or at least I'm going to aim for my levels here, like the 33,500 zone here, approximately near the highest point of August. And then if that gets cleared, then yes, certainly the 34,000 mark itself could be a nice, good target. So for now, long story short, as long as we stay above the downside line, then yes, I am leaning towards the upside. If by any chance we start falling back below this downside line here, back below the 33,000 mark, then yes, I will consider a bit of a retracement towards that 50-day EMA. Now jumping into China index, China 50. So yep, that one is so far on a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Look, I mean, I'm not blaming it because with the news that are coming out constantly from China right now, it's like the topic, one of the number one topics, or number one. Well, there cannot be a few ones, but anyway, one of the most important ones right now that are coming out. So look, of course, China is, yeah, we got some services PMI numbers yesterday. Let me just double check those. I think those were a little bit on the lower side. Yeah, so the Tizen services PMI figure came out much lower than the forecast, not to mention already the previous number. The Chinese composite PMI also was a little bit on the lower side, but still managed to remain in expansionary territory. Just not as much expanded, Look, then we have the whole issue with the Evergrande still. So yesterday, or today, the stocks, the stock jumped just because I think that the country was that Country Garden it was said to avoid default. So Country Garden is the one of the largest property developers in China, and it was kind of quietly there were some quiet talks about that. Evergrande is it's already it's old news. Now everybody's like, oh, what about the other property developers such as Country Garden? And they were already saying that, you know what, maybe they will actually go into default too. But apparently the news headlines started coming out saying that they will avoid default. Right. I don't know if the government intervened or what the hell happened, but in general, I don't think that somehow this is the end of the story. Maybe we'll give it a little pause. We'll see. They will probably focus on something else, but in general, we'll keep a close eye on it. But at the moment, looking at the China 50 index here, you can see that yes, we corrected back down. We're still struggling with that 200-day EMA, as I mentioned before. So now we can see that maybe we're hanging above this upside line, the steep upside line. So look, what I said to you before, that if we do drop and stay below this steep upside line, then yes, I will consider maybe a bit of a retracement retracement to the downside. But for me, still, a drop below that 50-day EMA, which, as you can see, provided fantastic support. A drop below that 50-day EMA is required, and a drop below that 12,727 territory as well. This is what I need. So, yeah, let's keep an eye on it, and let's see if that happens. But at this point, look, we cannot really do much here because, again, it's trying to move higher, but it's struggling. So, that's why we're going to take it very carefully, cautiously, and slowly. Now, ASX 200. So this one didn't like the numbers that came out this morning from Australia, because look, we had the GDP figures that came out, and look, okay. This is where the interesting bit is. Everybody's talking like, wow, this is managed to beat the forecast and blah 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 and stuff like that. But the figures, the previous figures got adjusted, and that means that your GDP, the GDP numbers that came out today, the Q&Q and year, didn't actually, okay, they beat the forecast, but maybe the forecast was a little bit on the lower side. So they beat the forecast, but actually they came out as the previous adjusted number. So in a way, there's no improvement. So that's maybe what the market is reacting to. And the Q-on-Q figure came out at 0.4, plus 0.4. Yes, beating forecast by 0.1%. Congratulations. But the previous number gets adjusted, plus 0.4. The year-on-year figure, plus 2.1. Fantastic. Beating forecast, plus 1.8. And great. But the previous gets adjusted 2.4. So basically still lower than the previous number. So, and even actually, let's put it this way, the adjusted was 2.4. The previous before adjustment was 2.3. So still lower than the previous number. And what does that mean? That actually, since since what? Let me just double check. Since September last year, we have been on a decline. And it's not really getting any higher. So that's, like I said, that's something also to consider. So that's why maybe we're seeing ASX 200 drifting a little bit to the downside. Okay, look, for now, yes, we're breaking this downside line here. I think maybe it's time to let's say get rid of it. Although I would think that way, but look, for now it's not sure. Are we gonna get another false breakout here, back below this downside line or not? Because we had that yesterday already. So let's wait and see. So these are the futures that I'm talking about here, guys. So let's wait and see. Let's see what's going to happen here. And if we do start, if we continue to slide and we fall and stay below the 7,227 territory, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the downside. So let's jump into the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So before I go further, good morning, everyone. Good morning, all there, everybody who's joining in right now. Yep. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful start of Wednesday, guys. We're midweek. We do have an eventful second half of the week. So let's see. But just bear with me one moment. I need to have a sip of tea. So just a sec. So, yeah. Now then, we declined yesterday. We fell. Why? Apparently, everybody's like talking about oil and oil price, so which is rising, and that's not good for inflation. And if it's not good for inflation, meaning that inflation might get higher, and meaning what? Meaning that these guys, when they meet on the 20th of September, basically they will say that okay, we're keeping the rates as they are, but we are ready to jump in if needed, if inflation starts getting out of hand. So so we need some sort of food in the market so that the kind of the wording for the Fed would be justified, or what they're going to say will be justified. So let's, again, for now, let's say what we're seeing here from the technical perspective is that, yes, this downside line, the steeper one, is providing good resistance so far. Yesterday, I talked about this, and I said to you that if we do fall and stay below this 50-day EMA together with this 34,800 zone, then yes, I'm leaning towards the downside. Initially, I'm targeting the 100-day EMA right here. And then from there we'll see, because maybe it's going to slide further, maybe it's going to stall, maybe it's going to rebound and push back up. But look, at this point, as long as we stay below this 50-day EMA, I'm leaning towards the downside. My other little issue with the, let's say, with the downside is maybe, just maybe, we have a very ugly flag here, bullish flag forming. So again, it's not very pretty. It's not like picture perfect from as from technical analysis books, but like maybe we're having a little range here as well. Maybe we're seeing it's not a range, sorry, maybe like a falling wedge or maybe a falling channel here. I don't want to draw it right now. I'm assuming you have like a good imagination and you will see it here, but it's not also ideal. So that's why not everything is ideal here for now. Sometimes you get these charts when everything's like just picture perfect, but this one is not, so that's why I'm hesitating here a little bit. And at the moment, hey, maybe this is a falling wedge, maybe it is that, but or maybe it's a falling channel. This one, the short-term one, but even that, even if it is that, I would say you need to be careful, because as long as we remain inside the pattern, it could continue drifting in the direction of that that pattern. We need a clearance of one of the sides in order to get comfortable with the next short-term directional move. So in this case, we need to see a clearance of the upper side, which is, by the way, this downside line. So in other words, it's kind of coming back to the same idea which I've said that. And in order to consider higher levels, a break of this downside line is required. And I'm talking about this one, the slightly steeper one. Now, I have this other one just in case, but look, I would say they're both tentative, or at least were both tentative. But now the steeper one became a little bit more interesting. So that's why, I'm keeping a close eye on it. And yeah, look, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But for now, in general, I would say that as long as we remain below the 50-day EMA, then yes, further declines are possible, at least towards maybe the 100-day EMA. The S&P 500. So, yes, we are drifting lower, but look, it's fine, because Daredevil Dave, good morning to you too. Good morning, and see you there in the chat room. I hope you're having a wonderful start of Wednesday. Look, with the S&P, I already talked about this, and I'm just kind of refresh everybody's memory on this. Look, for me, I need to see a pop above this 4,542 territory in order to go higher. This way, potentially more buyers could join in. Maybe a forthcoming higher high will be confirmed. But for the downside, to drop somewhere below this 4,485. Look, I would say maybe it's not an ideal level, actually. Maybe we should look at something a little bit lower. So maybe something around here, I would say. So just approximately around here. This 4,478, something like that. Just because I like the 50-day EMA here more. So maybe, you know, we could drop it a little bit here. So maybe this could be that breakout to the downside as in terms of a level. So I'm allowing it to walk here a little bit, so just to see how it's going to play out. I'm not rushing into anything. Today we got some news from the US, so be careful today. We do have the US trade balance, imports, exports, and the services PMI figure as well coming out. Something to keep in mind. And non-manufacturing, ISM non-manufacturing PMI figure. Also something to keep in mind. Expect you know, some volatility during those releases, but yeah, could be quite exciting today in comparison to yesterday. Now NASDAQ 100. I'm trying to guys. I'm trying to kind of run through it quickly, just because. Look, I talked a lot about these instruments yesterday. I'm not gonna spend too much time today on this one, so just like I said, just wanted to see what's happening. And look, for example, NASDAQ, it kind of it had a roller coaster ride yesterday, so it remained flat. So this is in line with what I was talking about yesterday. I said to you that look, don't expect maybe much activity today, or should I say yesterday. I was saying that yesterday because the big numbers are coming out today. So, and okay, apart from Dow, we saw kind of, yeah, exactly that. So just kind of stalled there, especially NASDAQ. NASDAQ just kind of sitting there and waiting for a trigger. Tasty Donut, morning to you too. Hope you're having a wonderful start of Wednesday as well. So yeah, like I said, unfortunately, that's the game plan for the NASDAQ. So I'm waiting for a pop above this 15,610 zone, somewhere around here, in order to consider some higher levels, and a drop below this downside line, and maybe together with this 15,370 territory as well. So just keeping a close eye on that one. The German index, DAX, so continued to slide yesterday. And yes, it did slide, but look at this. I've marked this level yesterday. So I mentioned that, look, I said to you, maybe we're having a weird head and shoulders pattern here, with the right shoulder being a little bit way too extended. However, I think that we can scrap the some of these ideas. And I think another thing that we can scrap here is, yeah, actually the idea of an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Maybe it's going to work out later on, I don't know, but at this point I'm starting not to like it. So actually, you know what, I think I'm gonna keep an eye on some of my levels, support and resistance levels. And also what I'm going to do here is I'm going to include this upside line drawn from the low of the 18th of August, which, as you can see, could be an interesting one. So that means that maybe something like this could happen. So if we do continue to trade above that upside line, then there is a chance we could see a rebound and a push higher. And in order to go to the upside, look, one of the options is, of course, if you can, keep an eye on this upside line, see if it rebounds or not. If it does, then yes, maybe a push higher could be possible. But I think that I will get more comfortable again with the upside if we do push back about this 15,878 territory right here, which coincides with my 100-day EMA. So yes, the 15,878 level here, if it coincides nicely with my 100-day EMA, if we clear that one, then yes, we'll get a little bit more excited with the upside. Now, in terms of the downside, you probably can see it straightforward, we could start looking at some lower levels already if we do break this upside line. The FTSE 100. Look, in Europe, by the way, today, right, with the FTSE, we do have the construction PMIs coming out, so something to keep in mind. Germany, from Europe, Germany factory orders came out. Those did not really look good, actually. I can see it now. So yes, wait, no, sorry, did it not come out? Okay. Did it come out? Let me just double check. Ah, yes. Yeah, they did not come out good. So Germany factory orders. Basically, the previous number was at, well, now it's showing adjusted 7.6. The previous number was at 7. Then the adjusted number is 7.6. I mean, the previous. The forecast was already like a little bit crappy, to be honest, like minus 4%. The previous one was like plus 7.6. This one, the forecast was like minus 4%, and the actual came out at minus 11.7. No, that's not good. That's Germany factory orders are dropping quite drastically. I'm wondering how DAX will hold on here today. So that's going to be an interesting one. Like I said, is it going to react to that negative news, or will it actually just follow the U.S. lead and just, do whatever the U.S. does and just kind of, goes there? But in general, the numbers are not very good for Germany. So let's see what's going to happen later on. In terms of other European news, retail sales, yes, something to keep in mind. So those are expected to improve a little bit, but again, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what's going to happen there. So yeah, like I said, the FTSE 100, so far so good. It fell below my hurdle here, so not much to say. I would say that it fell below that 7,433 territory, so it now tested the 7,400 level, one of mine here, and the question is, can it go further south? Well, as I said to you before, that I will aim lower if we do, first of all, drop and stay below the 7,433. We kind of did. I will take that maybe, but not ideally, but did. Now we're kind of coming closer to that 7,400 zone where we yesterday found good support. If that gets cleared, well, guess what? Further declines are possible. Ideally, I will be aiming for the 7,326 territory. But if somehow the 7,400 level continues to provide good support, maybe a rebound could be possible. But I think that we should wait for at least a break of this this downside line, and then we could go from there. US dollar index, there we go. Beautiful pop. Mr. Pucci, what's good? What's good? Is that a question or is it a statement? If it's a statement, then I don't get it. What's good? Tell me, be a little bit more specific, be a little bit more clear, What is good? The dollar index. Okay, yesterday we had a beautiful rally here. I mean, look at this. I mean, popped nicely. My mission accomplished here. Tested the target, the 104.61. Now what's next? Well, I'm taking a little bit of a pause on this one because, look, it did reach my target. Great. We cleared the highest point of May of 2023. Not the highest point of this year yet because it's around here near the 105.87. What's up? You mean? Sorry for the what's up? So now what's good? What's up? What's up? Nothing. Just running a regular webinar on a Wednesday. So, how are you? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I mean, I'm not expecting any other answer apart from good, well, or, amazing, fantastic. So just, but yeah, I hope so. So yeah, look, this situation here, okay, I would say, trade some effects. We're going to trade some effects. Okay. What are we looking at today? This whole list on my right there. That's what we are looking at today. So yeah. Now then, jumping into I have Bitcoin here. Randomly sitting here. There we go. So yes, with the US dollar index, so far, look, we had a good rally, right? At the moment, we're just kind of oscillating. At the moment, we're oscillating around that 104.61 territory. So, like I said, my mission is accomplished already here. I said to you that if we do pop above this downside line, maybe we're forming this nice, beautiful bullish flag. We were, and congratulations, we reached my target. So, at the moment, I'll leave it. I'll let it settle. I'll just let it walk. Maybe it's going to drift a little bit lower. Maybe it's going to continue pushing higher. But if in terms of higher, if we continue to trade above this 104.61 zone, somewhere around here, the highest point of May, then yes, higher levels could be met. The next target is the psychological 105 area, and then we'll take it from there. I know it's not far, but we had already quite a decent up move, so maybe maybe let's see how it reacts around there. So yeah, that's the kind of game plan here on the US dollar. In order for me to, let's say, get very bearish on this one, I would like to see it drop somewhere below this territory, but I think that maybe, depending on how this is going to trade, maybe I'll look at something a little bit earlier. Maybe, just maybe, we could keep an eye on this upside line. It's a little bit on the tentative side, but look, this upside line kind of comes in line perfectly with my hurdle here, this 104 zone. Then yes, we could go a little bit lower. But because any move lower here up to this upside line could be any throwback to this upside line could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. That's why I am not really, let's say, getting very comfortable with the downside yet. So look, it's a difficult one at this point because, like I said, everything got reached what I wanted it to do, and where I want it to go. So yes, and now, like I said, I'm keeping an eye on this hurdle, this highest point of May. Let's see if we can stay above it. Now let's jump into the into gold. Yes, of course, one commodity that does kind of take into consideration a higher US dollar. I'm talking about the other one, which is oil, but we'll get to that in a bit. So yeah, gold declined. I talked about this idea here recently. So I said to you that if we do fall below, and actually yesterday I talked about this, I said to you that if we do fall below this 1935 territory, I'm leaning lower, initially towards the 50-day EMA, and then maybe towards that 1921 level, or maybe the 200-day EMA. So for now, as long as we stay below the 50-day EMA, because this is the shown as the red line here. If we continue to trade below it, then yes, I'm leaning towards the downside. If we start climbing back above it, I'm taking a neutral stand. If we are looking at some higher levels, this is where I need to adjust my downside line this way. And if we were looking at some higher levels, a push back above the 1935 territory, which coincides perfectly with my 100-day EMA, and we clear that one, great. We would also clear this steep downside line, this tentative one, and then potentially more buyers could join in. So let me just put this arrow like this. Yep, that's my game plan for now. Silver continues to slide. Beautiful. Yes, as I said, my next target is the 200-day EMA. I'm not going to say anything else apart from maybe we have ourselves a descending triangle pattern. But that's a little bit way too far for now, so let's keep it short and simple. For now, I am targeting my 200-day EMA, which is approximately around that 23.37 territory. As long as we stay below the 50 and the 100-day EMA. If we somehow climb back above those, well, we could see a bit of a pushback to the upside. Palladium, just a quick update. I wanted to show you this one because I talked about this precious metal, this commodity yesterday, and I said to you that, look, we have this range here, and I need to see a clearance. We got a tease. We got that breakout here, but it was a false breakout, and we drifted back up. So we're still in the range. So I just want to continue monitoring that situation here, and if I want to go lower on that one, then yes, a clear breakout here is required still for me. Oil. Everybody's talking about oil right now. Look, beautiful rebound from my target here. So I talked about this yesterday. I said to you that if we do drift a little bit lower, but we rebound from this highlighted zone, a push back up could be possible. Beautiful. Fantastic move. I've targeted the 88 zone. Beautiful. It was amazing. It was great. It was nice. Everything worked out perfectly. I am very, very happy, and maybe even a little bit of smugness you can hear in my voice as well. So, but unfortunately, sorry, it doesn't happen very often, and that's why I'm taking this opportunity to do so. So now, what I'm going to do here, to be honest, I'm going to take a very, very conservative approach here and not just say that as long as we stay above this hurdle, I will keep on aiming higher. No, at this point, given that the 88 zone has been quite an interesting one in a good area of resistance, I will keep an eye on it. If we do clear it, I'll go higher towards my level that I mentioned yesterday, the psychological 90 zone. For the downside, I would need to see a break back below this 84.90 territory in order to go a little bit lower, or should I say, consider a larger correction to the downside towards this upside line drawn from the low of the 28th of June. Bitcoin, nothing. Honestly, nothing, and it's just kind of trading around here, starting to oscillate around my levels. So I think that it's kind of just forcing me to drop those potential breakout levels to the downside. So now at this point, I'm looking at this 25,288 zone. Look, I don't like it when it's happening like this, but okay, I'll have to take it into consideration, and I have to kind of accept that and and try to adjust. So, and this is what I'm doing right now. So I'm adjusting. So if I want to go lower, a drop below this 25,288 zone is required. Maybe we could drift even lower, but to be honest, I'm not liking this, so I'm just leaving it for now. Just keeping an eye on the price action. For the upside, actually, I'm keeping an eye on this 200-day EMA together with the 27,000 mark. Because again, if we do clear down and push above it, then yes, potentially could attract more buyers. Ethereum, similar story, just watching that 1620 level. That's it. Not much. Honestly, the same analysis is valid. The same analysis as I mentioned in my previous sessions. Litecoin, again, the same story. Look, I need to see a clear break below this 60 territory in order to go lower. So far, I'm not getting that, so we're stuck here, and we're just observing the price action. Now, let's jump into a few pairs. I think that's going to be a little bit more interesting. So, AUDUSD, so Australian dollar, and look at this beautiful recovery. Well, guess why? Because we had some positive GDP numbers, and the market is like, hey, you know, some positivity. Let's drive this one. But in general, it managed to reach my target. So there we go. It managed to reach my 0.6365 area. Beautiful. So I said to you that if we break the upside line, that's what I'm aiming for after. And then the question is, can we go lower from here? Well, I think, in my opinion, again, it's only my opinion, and whatever I say here, guys, is just honestly my crazy opinion. Maybe it's not correct, you know, maybe, I don't know. Let me just adjust this a little bit this way. So yeah, if I think maybe this way, or maybe, yeah, something like that. So look, for now, I'm keeping an eye on this territory and also on this territory right here. Nope, I don't need the arrow. So maybe it's a range. Maybe it's a range. So if you're a range trader, congratulations, this could be something for you. But if you don't like that, look, I will consider that as a range if we do start pushing back above this upside line and we stay above it. And actually, you know, then yes, maybe we could see a push back up. But look, for now, I'm just, like I said, keeping an eye on these barriers on this upside line within the range. And also, like I said, the lower, especially the lower side of the range, because if that gets cleared, great, more sellers could join in. And another thing is that let's say if this is a range, then the prevailing trend was to the downside. And according to all the TA rules, whenever we enter like a range of some sort like this, then we do look at the prevailing trend, because it tends to break out in the direction of the prevailing trend. So it's kind of seen as a little pause, and then, you know, it's like a continuation pattern. But again, things happen, and it could happen in the opposite direction, but that's why I'm like keeping an eye on some of these levels here, or lines, and that's why I'm just kind of letting you know. AUDJPY, so this one, beautiful. There we go. Honestly, I was kind of, I was happy. I'm happy about this one. Why? Because yesterday I said to you that, look, we were drifting lower. We were already below this downside line. I said to you that, look, keep your eyes on this upside line and together with this 100-day EMA, because maybe, we'll get ourselves like something like a false breakout, and boom, there we go. We're getting a false breakout, and we're staying above this downside line, and but we're also staying below the 50-day EMA. So this is where the issue arises. In a way, it's kind of like somewhat positive, but struggling with the 50-day EMA. So yes, we're getting that rebound. So that's one part of this arrow, which I've drawn here. Now, my question, can we jump and stay above the 50-day EMA? The red one here. If we can, great, I'll aim for the upside. If we struggle and we start clearing this upside line, guys, we start selling off heavily, then yes, initially, of course, I will aim for the this highlighted zone right here. And then we'll, if that gets cleared, then yes, certainly drop below this 200-day EMA here could open the door to some lower levels. AUDNZD, so there we go. We broke this one. This one's a little bit more bearish. We broke the upside line. We stayed below it. So, and we're now oscillating around the EMAs. So I'm keeping a close eye on it, but I'm actually leaning slightly towards the downside. Then yes, we will kind of go from there. Be careful on this one. Like I said, at the moment I'm leaning a little bit lower, so let's see how this is going to play out. And in order to consider the upside, 1.0880 zone is something that I'm keeping a close eye on. In terms of actually Australian news, I think that tomorrow we have the trade balance, imports, exports as well from Australia. So keep your eyes on that one. Also keep your eyes on the Chinese trade balances as well. This is something that, could affect the Australian dollar. But and on Friday, nothing. So it's mainly tomorrow that could be a bit of a driver for Australian dollar. NZDJPY, just a quick update. Beautiful test of this upside line again. Fantastic. Look, I'm very happy with this one. And yes, so far so good. We are still coiling up, and I'm waiting for that exit to happen. So I don't know if that's going to happen during the Japanese data release, which is happening on Friday. They're releasing their GDP figures. So yes, we'll see how maybe it's that one. Maybe it will wait until Friday morning and then make a move. So, but in general, it's getting more interesting and more interesting. NZDCHF. Okay, so beautiful false breakouts. Okay, so that means the bulls are not giving up. So as long as they manage to keep the pair above this upside line, yes, there is a chance for this one to push back to the upside. Now USDJPY. So this one is a bit of a tragedy for the BoC. BOJ. Because look, I mean, we're seeing a devaluation of the yen. Now, everybody was talking about the 145 level, and if you remember in one of my videos, like about a few weeks ago, when I was picking up on this whole BOJ issue with the yen depreciating, and I said to you that, look, yes, 145, they're like keeping that one, but I think that they will allow it to run a little bit more. Why? Because they allowed it to run a little bit more back here in October of last year. So look at this. In a way, what I'm kind of expecting actually something similar, that we could go a little bit further north. I don't know if 150 would be that target, but closer to the 150 zone, I think that there is still potential for that one. So that's why I am a little bit on the careful side. In general, right now, we're getting this weird situation where the indices are a little bit on the decline. You would say that the yen should be interesting for investors, but no, yen is not interesting, and it's not really acting as a safe haven. I think that the US dollar is acting a little bit more as a safe haven. So yeah, and everybody's into dollar right now. But again, because I think that everybody secretly expects the Fed to continue raising rates. And if you know, that is a little that is on the good side for the currency. But Okay, look, for now, from the technical perspective, I really liked this 147.37 level. We reached that, violated it, and to be honest, we are now drifting kind of around it, so it's not no longer needed. I think what I'm gonna do instead, I'm just gonna stick to this hurdle here, this 146.56. Somehow it did provide good resistance. Maybe it's gonna act as a good area of support. So as long as we stay above it, I will continue targeting the upside. If we do fall back below it, then yes, I will maybe examine an opportunity here to drift a little bit lower back to that 145 zone. USDCAD. So, of course, everybody's watching the USDCAD today. Why? We have the... we have some... Excuse me, sorry for my voice. We have some news coming out from the BoC. And what is that? Interest rate decision. There we go. So currently the expectation is for the rate to remain the same at 5%. Another thing that I'm seeing some discrepancies here right now is the fact that the Canadian dollar is still on the weaker side, although oil has been, rising. But maybe I think that's where the US dollar is kind of overshadowing everything, basically, and just kind of not giving a breath of fresh air to any of the currencies which it's trading against. So yeah, against its major counterparts, yes, it's not giving any mercy to them, but at the moment. But look, everything changes, right? I mean, at the moment, the bulls are enjoying the moment here, so. They're having a good time. We're seeing some of my targets getting reached here, so I'm quite happy because all of the targets got reached. Look, I said to you that as long as we stay above this 1.3575 territory, I am targeting the 1.3640, 1.3651, 1.3668. Everything it gave to me. So I'm quite happy with that. Now my question is, can it go further north? Because a little bit higher, I do have this downside line, and to be honest, I'm kind of leaning still towards that. So, you know what? I think I'm going to stick to that because maybe the news will drive the fact that there won't be any rate hike. Maybe it will continue applying pressure on the Canadian dollar, and even the higher oil prices are not going to help here, and we could see USDCAD drifting further north. For the downside, a drop below the 1.3575 territory would be required for me. USDCHF, just a quick update. Amazing activity here. And look, I talked about these targets yesterday. I mentioned my 0.89 zone, and fantastic move. Great result here. What's next? Well, next is, I don't know, honestly, because look, in general, I'm leaning towards the upside, and because I'm keeping an eye on this, let me just mark this one for our future reference. I think that would be better. I'm keeping an eye on that 0.89 territory, and I really like it. So far, it's providing good resistance. If it breaks, okay, great. I'm aiming for my 200-day EMA. That's fantastic. If it doesn't, if it sticks around somewhere around here, it's not ideal, and I'm just observing the price action. In order to consider the downside for me, now previously I talked about this, but I talked about this idea just because we didn't have this handle here with a spike higher. But now I think that it's time maybe to draw something around these lines. So, and in general, look, I mean, I think that still the downside plays in nicely from this crossroad, the crossroad of these two trend lines. So, but from the shorter term perspective, I think that it's okay to say that a drop below the 100-day EMA could be ideal here, and we could see a nice good move lower. So so yeah, for now, like I said, if we do fall below the 100-day EMA, then yes, I'm leaning towards the 50-day EMA, towards the crossroads between these two trend lines, and then I'll take it from there. US dollar against the Mexican peso, flying high, and honestly, I am very, very happy with this one, and fantastic, and mission accomplished. And now my question is, can we stay? Can we stay above this territory? So far, we're staying. Great. If we stay above this, then yes, my next target is simple, 200-day EMA. And then I'll take it from there. But yeah, in general, worked out. Mission accomplished. Fantastic. I talked about this and I said to you that if we do push and stay above this 50-day EMA, the next target is this territory right here. So far, so good. Yeah, so that's the game plan for now. I don't have anything else to say. GBPCHF. GBPCHF, we're still in this territory, and we're still struggling with the EMA. So far, as you can see, I removed the levels, the resistance and support levels, and I'm just keeping an eye on some of these, like on this rising channel. Oh, sorry, just a second. My emails are popping out here. Yep. So I'm keeping close eye on the on this range, or kind of maybe it's like a rising veg. And I said to you yesterday that look, for now I'm just gonna leave it here, let it jump around here. And once it gets closer to one of the sides of my like rising channel here, then or it's more like it's actually a veg, kind of very, you know, it's in between somewhere. So let's keep it as a rising channel. So if it gets closer to one of my sides of the rising channel, then yes, I will kind of then maybe consider the breakout. EURCAD, something as well to keep in mind today because of the Canadian numbers. And yes, so far so good, to be honest, because I said to you yesterday that if we do fall and stay below this 1.4633 territory, then yes, I'll go a little bit lower. I'll aim for the downside, especially if we also stay below the 100-day EMA. We drifted below the hurdle, but we failed to stay below the 100-day EMA. So that's really giving me that little, you know, element of the doubt. So, but anyway, look, I will say it this way: as long as we remain below the 50-day EMA, yes, there is still a chance for this one to drift lower. But I'll get more comfortable with that idea if we do drop back below the 100-day EMA, and then I'll take it from there. EURAUD, just a quick update as well. Beautiful move, fantastic. One of the levels got reached, the 1.6889. Congratulations. Now, what's next? Well, this is where I take a careful approach, and I watch this barrier, this 1.6889, one of my targets. So if we clear that one, then my 1.6943 is the next one, and the 1.7066. That's what I'm going to do here with this pair. While it remains in here somewhere, I'm cautiously bullish, but still not excluding the downside scenario, which for me is from a break of this upside line and a drop below the 50-day EMA. And finally, EURUSD. So yes, beautiful move to the downside, dropped below the 1.0765, 66 here, right there. I talked about this, and I said to you yesterday that if we do fall below this, my next target is the 1.0733, and then maybe ideally the 1.0667. For now, we're just on the right track. I think it's drifting lower. So yes, we can see that the 50-day EMA is crossing the 100-day EMA. We have not seen that since when? Wow, for quite a lot. Back in July of 2021. So basically, this is not really looking good for the euro dollar. However, don't rush into judgment yet, because maybe it came very close right now. Maybe it's just going to give us this little drop below the 100-day EMA, but if it's going to fail to drop below the 200-day EMA, I'm talking about the 50-day EMA, then that's maybe we'll see a nice reversal back to the upside. So just the bulls should not jump off yet, but I would say should not feel very confident as well. So guys, that's yes, that's why for my upside scenario is if we do pop back above the 200-day EMA, this is from where I'll start looking at some higher levels. But then yes, a lot of different factors have to come in here. Other clearances have to happen. So we'll adjust as we go. So guys, that's it for this session. I hope you found it useful, and I really appreciate your views, your rocket ships in there, your comments. I really appreciate everything, guys. It really means a lot. And thank you very much, as I keep on saying now, that thank you very much for killing an hour of your life with me. So that means a lot. So yes, I hope you found it useful. I hope somehow this kind of, you know, it's not for you to kind of just follow blindly like whatever I say here. No, you just watch my videos and just kind of then make your own judgment, make your own, you know, kind of approach, and do your own approach. Just the only thing is, promise me that you're kind of stay safe, risk only what you can afford to lose, have your stop losses in place, and don't overtrade. So yeah, that's the only thing that I ask everybody, and then everything will be fine. So anyway, have a beautiful trading day today, guys. I'll speak to you tomorrow, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, as I said, have a beautiful trading day. Bye-bye. Hey there, thank you very much for watching this one till the end. I really appreciate that. So like this video, we speculate your next mass movement will be towards the subscribe button.